Hi boys and girls, this is Miss Grace from BSF. You probably have a lot of questions, like why aren't we going to BSF? We want you guys to stay home and be safe. Or you might ask, what's that on your face? I got a scratch. Maybe you might ask, why does your hair look a little strange? It's wet because I just came out of the shower. I bet your mom and dad have been asking you to wash your hands a lot, to wash the germs away. But there's one thing we can't wash away with soap and water, and that's sin. But God had a plan for that. He had a plan to send Jesus to take the punishment for our sins. And that's what Jesus did. He came and he lived on earth and he loved people, he healed people, and he taught people about God. But some people didn't like what Jesus was teaching about God. So one night, they sent some soldiers, and those soldiers grabbed Jesus and took Jesus away. And those rulers told the soldiers to put Jesus on the cross. And Jesus hung on the cross for a long time, and it hurt a lot. But Jesus was willing to do that because he loves us, and he loves you. After he had hung on the cross for a long time, he said in a loud voice, "It is finished." That means Jesus came and did what God the Father had planned for him to do. And he died on that cross for us. But that doesn't mean the story's finished. Some men came and took Jesus' body down from the cross, wrapped it in clean cloth, and put it in a tomb. A tomb is like a big hole in a rock, kind of like a room. And a big stone was rolled over the entrance of the tomb, and the rulers put 2 guards to stand there to guard it so that nobody could come near and so that nobody could take away Jesus' body. That was their plan, but God had another plan. Early one Sunday morning, there came 2 women who loved Jesus very much. They were sad because he had died, and they were walking to the tomb when all of a sudden there was a big earthquake. The ground started to shake, and from heaven came an angel. And the Bible tells us that the angel's face was shining so much like lightning, you probably couldn't even look at it. And his clothes were white as snow. And that angel came and sat on that stone. Oh, you bet those soldiers who saw the angel were so frightened, they fell to the ground like they were dead. And I'm pretty certain those women were frightened too, because the angel said to them, "Don't be afraid. I know you've come to look for Jesus, but he is not here. He has risen, just as he said. Jesus, God's son, died and came alive again." That was such good news. The women ran to tell Jesus' friends. They didn't just run to tell his friends, they actually got to see Jesus themselves. And Peter saw Jesus, and many of the disciples saw Jesus. And the Bible tells us that over 500 people saw Jesus. They saw him, they touched him, they talked to him. Many of them saw that, and we know it because the Bible tells us that this was God's plan, so that everybody would know that Jesus, God's son, died and came alive again. And you know what? Your moms and your grandmas are learning the same story too. In 1 Corinthians 15:20, that's the book that they've been reading and studying, it says, "Christ indeed has been raised from the dead." I hope you come back next week for the next story. Who's gonna tell it? Come back and you'll find out, okay? Bye!